Dion Horstmans uses steel and shadows to create pieces of art. I recently caught up with him at his studio.
My work's basically shadow based. When I install pieces in people's homes, I make a point of saying, call me in a year's time and we'll flip it around, because then it's a different sculpture and it'll act differently. You need to have discipline. It's a job. I take it very seriously. I get up at 5 in the morning. I come here, I leave home at 5:30, I live in Bondi. The studio here is in Marrickville, and I'll do 9 or 10 hours, 5 days a week. Every second Saturday I come out here as well. It's a very solitary existence. Privileged, but there's a lot of head miles. In the afternoons I'll then go to the gym and train around people. Grinders spin very fast and they're dangerous, and then you cut steel, there's sparks and it burns, and then you weld steel together and it burns and it flashes and it blinds you, and everything's noisy, and then you grind steel and then there's more steel flying around everywhere. Steel's an incredibly forgiving material. You can make a mistake and you can cut it off and start again, or you can fill it with weld and grind it back and then hit it with a file and clean it up. Just kind of went from film to film, making props. I went from not knowing how to use a table saw or a jigsaw to being able to mastering all sorts of different methods. Whilst working on Matrix 2 and 3, I put together a show, because it was, I was coming out of the tail end of addiction, or drug addiction, so I found that being able to create my own stuff within that environment was great. Before work, at lunchtime, after work, I'd stay and work on my own things. After a while, I got jack of working, creating other people's dreams basically, and just kind of moved on. Recently, I've moved from diamonds and triangles and pointy, sharp things and geometry to curves and circles and a much more fluid, a much more fluidy, random, spontaneous kind of dialogue, if you like. I've had a real fascination with kind of ethnographic arts, whether it's Polynesian or Melanesian, also New Zealand. Just the patterns in the maraes and the just everywhere culturally in New Zealand. It's everywhere. You can draw inspiration from everything within nature, really. You can look at the latest Mercedes-Benz and go, fuck, wow, and draw from that. I mean, we're pretty clever people. Humans were pretty clever.